You see me celebrating, so what? You see me laughing, so what? The blessing got me dancing. That favor got me jubilating. No sickness, no poverty. Glory to glory. Come and see. You don't know my story. You see. You don't know my story. Your time will come. Possibility. He will never leave you begging for bread. He will never, never, never forsake you. Yeah. My God with us. Emmanuel. Possibility. He will never leave you begging for bread. He will never, never, never forsake you. Yeah. My God with us. Emmanuel.
Ready to get married, we will pass here and there to collect funds from people. After getting married, 2-3 months, 1 year, they can go. But I'm saying, any wedding that will come to me for sponsorship and I sponsor the wedding, you take the money and give wedding. I pay that money for you to still to get up. And I pay that money for that food. So if you call for that food, I will go to court, you will return my money because my money was not used for the internet purpose. A criminal act. So the money should be paid. All the other weddings, The money to be reformed. I think it's supposed to be that way. Reform the money. When they're ready to get married, they will pass here and there to collect funds from people. After getting married, 2-3 months, 1 year, they can go. But I'm saying, any wedding that will come to me for sponsorship and I sponsor the wedding, you take the money and give whether I pay that money for you to still to get up, and I pay that money for that food. So if you call for that food, I will go to court, you will return my money because my money was not used for the internet purpose. A criminal act. The money should be paid. All the other weddings,
the trial has again been suspended, which is disappointing. It's beginning to appear that the government is deliberately trying to delay this trial and does not want to bring it to a speedy conclusion. And that's what appears to be happening, which is very disappointing. I continue to say that the charges against us are baseless. The facts and evidence is on our side. This is why the prosecution extracted evidence from the National Advisory Council chapter of the CPP that basically absolved us. But again, it's another attempt by the government to use the judiciary to pick and choose who will run against them. But I continue to be confident in our innocence and the fact that the evidence with over 1 million support us. Let me also say that there are so many other issues and challenges facing our country and our people. The security issues in Liberia, the killings and the lack of investigation and bringing people to book, the high prices, the inflation, the stealing and corruption. These are all topics and issues that are directly affecting the Liberian people, and issues we will continue to speak about and speak about more vocally. And we'll also begin to speak more vocally about the travesty of justice that is happening with this persecution of the leadership of the ANC. So again, thank you to Liberian people for your belief and support. We are getting overwhelming support from the country, from the people who know that we are innocent. But it's unfortunate that the government is not heeding the evidence or the will of the people. But again, I'm confident the facts are on our side and we will prevail. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
The trial has again been suspended, which is disappointing.
Something happened, and that's why I'm proud of it. He killed temporarily living with his sister. His sister told him that he left his good job to come to Liberia to try to feed him a and they put him outside. I told him, do not worry. She can give you foolish as you want to. You work with me in the Senate, don't worry. Who does God know who foolish, who not foolish? Today is the minister still off the portfolio. But guess what? Most of the major projects, this one PHP project is the same Tamba Koijee. You understand? So people will eat their words. You understand? It's left for you to be determined. People can label you. They can tell you anything. You don't know nothing. But what is important in life is focus. Well, thank you. Where you want to go? Focus. You understand? What we're doing today is not a news. I used to be in Scarborough. I did 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade in Scarborough. I used to play right here. I played for Invisible 11 right here. I played for Muslim Congress right here. I'm the president. I left here, I went to Europe. I'm the president, and every day I pass here to go to work. One day, he drove with me, and I said, "Hey, Choko, go to that community, tell the children to do tournaments so we can face that field." You know why I did that? Because I was ashamed. I was ashamed. This is the place I used to play. But the top ground we used to play on, the children that inspired to be a Ballon d'Or, they stayed at the same place for more than 30 years. So all I had to do was to make it better. Now it is better. And let me tell now. It left with them now to be Ballon d'Or or not. You know what I'm saying? When it was racket, I encouraged myself, I become Ballon d'Or. Now they have perfect feet. Anybody want to play basketball to be the best, you get basketball. Volleyball, they get everything. If they can be inspired, develop their games, and make their game reality now, it left with them. Nobody will say, oh, when they play bad, I want the children now, they go no far. Right now, they get perfect ground. So that's the thing.
Who he encouraged to support CDC. And come and say, you have supported CDC. Yeah. So Mr. Ability is a dishonest man. This man is genetically incapable of talking true. He lied about everything brazenly. He lied brazenly about everything. So that's the first thing you got to look at that thing. Mr. Ability, it was not the people alone that supported Joe Weah. You campaign, you endorsed Mr. Joe Weah for the second round against Councillor Blonsky Eva. So why are you blaming our people for supporting Joe Weah? That's wrong. So that first dishonesty there, we got to pick that dishonesty apart. The second thing is, Mr. Ability, try to be dishonest even with the truth. To say that, Mr. Joe Weah, was supporting the
Ellen Sirleaf, thank you for joining me on Upfront. It's been more than a year since you left office as president of Liberia. You came into power off the back of a peace deal that followed decades of war and violence and coups. You ended your mandate with Liberia's first successful democratic transition in 73 years. You're the first woman to lead an African nation, a Nobel Peace Prize winner. And yet some might say you've been more popular abroad than you have been at home. What do you say to them?
Well, I think everyone really went around the country, where I spent a lot of time going into rural areas, being able to work with farmers and rural women and traders. And, I found that I was very well connected with them. But also, if in the city, some of the positions I took were maybe not popular, then that's fine. But I also know that I had to be out there in the global community, being able to mobilize the support for Liberia, being able to restore Liberia's creditworthiness, being able to make sure that the partnership that we needed, was put in place to enable us to achieve our development goals. I'm very happy with what I was able to do.
When you became president in 2005, you pledged a war on corruption. You called it, quote, a national cancer and, quote, public enemy number one. But then you yourself were hit with a variety of scandals, your government, and you later said you, quote, underestimated the cultural roots of corruption. But surely Liberian culture isn't to blame for corruption. Liberian politicians, such as yourself and others, are to blame for corruption.
Well, let me tell you, politicians are part of the culture. Politicians are part of the value system.
But it sounds like you're blaming the public, the country, for the actions of politicians.
I'm not blaming anybody. No. I think you're just talking without listening. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying dependency, dishonesty came part of the Liberian culture over the many years of deprivation. The institutions to fight corruption were not there.
You mentioned the institutions, and yet you did have an independent corruption watchdog, the General Auditing Commission, which found 20 government ministers, accused 20 government ministers of corruption, and you failed to prosecute any of them. Why?
Well, let me tell you something. All of those reports were sent to our Liberia Anti-Corruption Agency. They were also sent to our legislature. We organize a particular unit in the presidency to be able to look at all of those cases and to be able to send them forward to the Ministry of Justice wherever they thought prosecution was necessary.
So why weren't they prosecuted?
Well, because our system is like that. If you want to really understand Liberia, you need to dig a little bit deeper. You need to understand our culture, our values, our systems. And the way to tackle it is not always to just make a whole lot of noise about it, but to quietly build those institutions that are going to be long-lasting.
What is it about your country's institutions and values and culture that led you to appoint 3 of your sons and your sister to top government positions? Something that led to your fellow Liberian Nobel Peace Laureate, Lema Bowie, to resign from her post as head of Liberia's Peace and Reconciliation Commission. Does she not understand Liberian culture or institutions?
No. Let's put it this way. First of all, when I took office, if you're talking about one of my sons was always in place a couple of administrations before I took place, and I didn't fire him. Yes, I didn't think it was necessary to do so. If you're talking about the others where I needed a specialized skill to be able to achieve our objective of trying to mobilize the resources to tackle our major development programs, that's what I did. And frankly, will you please look around today at some other countries that have found themselves perhaps in similar position and have been able to put in place those particular relatives close to them whom they feel they could trust? I'll leave that to you to do your research on.
Well, I've done my research. The British Prime Minister hasn't appointed any family members. The Canadian Prime Minister hasn't appointed any family members. The French President hasn't appointed any family members. The German Chancellor hasn't appointed any family members. I could keep going, Ellen Sirleaf.
Good for them. Is that all?
Well, you were saying look at other countries. I'm saying it's not a common practice for presidents or prime ministers, certainly not in democratic nations, to appoint a bunch of family members to run various institutions.
Well, look. Let me put it this way. We're really gone beyond this now. You know, let's deal with the real issues of Liberia. Let's deal with how we can help this country to succeed.
You say let's deal with Liberia's real issues. No. You said you appointed family members for specialized skill sets. Your son, Robert Sirleaf, was appointed chairman of Liberia's national oil company. That company went bankrupt and $30 to $40 million disappeared. What special skill set did he bring to national oil company?
No. First of all, let me just say, what you just said is a blatant lie. L-I-E, lie. You go look at the records. There is nothing about that company going bankrupt.
So there were no problems at all at National Oil Company?
The National Oil Company ran into because the 2 companies that were trying to exploit for oil, ExxonMobil and Chevron, could not find oil. They pulled out, and that meant that this company could not continue. It's as simple as that. And the record is clear on
How about the Liberia's central bank? You appointed your son Charles Sirleaf as deputy governor there. You suspended him. You suspended him for failing to declare his assets. And 2 months ago, he was ordered to be held in jail while awaiting trial for having unlawfully printed local currency worth tens of millions of US dollars. Did you know he was doing that?
Well, I didn't know you wanted to have an interview just to come out with outrageous statements. I mean, if that was so,
I'm confused. Was he not?
I thought you.
Hold on, has he not been held in jail? Is that wrong? Has he not been held in jail?
That is not true. That is not true. He was on justice.
My friend and brother, Francis Donald, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Just that way.
I'm okay.
I don't know.
Relatively, and you?
No, just so it's not you. I'm talking to my co-host. So you just hold on.
Okay.
I am doing super great, and I'm happy we have come this far as it relates to our religious journey. Yesterday we received a downpour of snow. I don't know if it's a fair wet snow in North Dakota or not, but a lot of people could not get home easily. I have to help some of them because I got a thunder truck, so the snow is huge. I think it's more than 10 inches. Otherwise, I'm okay, and I'm grateful to my God.
All right. Like for me, I'm doing pretty much well. I'm doing much okay. Let's get to the topic. This morning we have the student of SUP, the student of the university. They were not able to connect based on their internet problems. Based on their internet problems, so they were not able to come through. They have tried that so many times, but they were not just able. But here with us currently is the SG for the Vanguard Student Unification Party. Mr. SG, how you doing? Mr. SG, how you doing?
I'm fine. I'm relatively fine. And you?
Yeah, we are doing quite okay. You can hear my calls?
No, I'm not getting him.
Okay. So let us dive into the issue. This morning we decided to invite you, reason because we learned that Jefferson Tamba Koijee, the nurse is in the background, the noise.
Okay now?
Okay.
You might need to change your location a little bit. The noise too much.
Yeah. Is that a way that you can change your location because we don't want the noise to interfere with the thing that we're doing here? Okay. No, okay. I line to go. We cannot just, yeah, we cannot just accept all that noise that's coming from his background. No. Yeah,
Maybe he will call back.
Yeah, so let me turn the pendulum to you so you can dive into the issues. The issues of Major Jefferson Tamba Koijee. What you know about that? What you know about him carrying toy, sort of ruthless guys on the campus of the university? What do you know?
Mr. Kamara, first and foremost, I would want to say a plenty thank you to folks that follow us right now and those who will join us later to listen to our podcast. And I want to just recognize a few people that I see on my screen. Stephen Keita, we want to say welcome. Umaru M. Fofana, welcome. Patrick Kenneth, welcome. Jim T. Fowler Jr., welcome. Imari Charles, welcome. And the rest of the guys. But you know, history is still creeping on Liberia. It baffled my imagination and my thinking, especially 21st century, that the state-owned University of Liberia, would be targeted by its own owner, the government of Liberia, security forces, and some government officials, as low as their profile is. Not just today, but from yesterday to today. And that consistency continue to hold on even with this foreboding president, George Manuel Weah. I do not understand why Jefferson Koijee, mayor of Monrovia, will have so many uncivilized, indecent militants behind him just because he's city mayor. I do not understand it. I thought city police should be with him. But the whole issue of militancy on the part of the city government, I don't think that should be the work of the city. I don't think so. And the city is not even being clean, which is the primary the primary responsibility of the city mayor of Monrovia. So this issue of government security and government official attack on university students started when we were not even born. Why the state is attacking itself? Because this university was organized by the government of Liberia through legislative enactment. If we're not even supporting the university fully in terms of budgetary allotment, then why are we abusing students on campus?
Hold on.
Why are we abusing students on campus? Not just today, but this thing has been going on we go. I do not understand. Especially in your person like, Jefferson Koijee, to go to a program with a bunch of hooligans to go and disturb somebody who had an incredible legacy of life and contribution to our country, whether you like it or not. Dr. Amos Sawyer. Was it all about political gang up? Or was it about going to attend a program? Or was it about to abuse his own colleagues? Because as by what we know right now, Jefferson Koijee graduated from the University of Liberia. Why would you want to carry this bunch of uncivilized men and women to abuse your fellow students? I don't understand, AB.
Okay.
I don't understand.
We currently have the SG of the Vanguard Student Unification Party. The SG will drive through and he will give us a synopsis of what went on wrong. Mr. Jisu, Camera, how you doing?
I'm fine, and I must say that on behalf of the Student Unification Party, we are very, 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 very much appreciated for the platform offered us by you guys to express our own view on the incident that transpired on the university campus some weeks ago, something that was masterminded and planned by Jefferson Tamba Koijee that led to the disruption of the homegoing ceremony of Dr. Amos Sawyer, peace to his artists, and also students of the University of Liberia, peaceful students who have come to witness the program called Fitting Mass in the process, and the University of Liberia property were vandalized and looted by thugs that were brought on the university campus by Jefferson Tamba Koijee, Monrovia City Mayor. So again, Tusu Kamara, Secretary General of the Student Unification Party, I would like to use this medium to extend my greetings to Chairman Mustafa Kane, Chairman of the Student Unification Party, and all of the 14 militants and cadres in the struggle for a better and decent Liberian Republic. Thank you very much. So, it was on the 31st of March, the Student Unification Party, as a member of the University of Liberia family, was invited by the administration of the University of Liberia to attend a program organized by the University of Liberia in honor of Dr. Amos Sawyer for his enormous services rendered to the University of Liberia while he was alive. So, as young students, we are taking advantage of the opportunity to go to said program and to listen to reputable people, old folks who knew Sawyer and interacted with Sawyer more than we did as young people. So while we were sitting in the hall, it was not to our knowledge that the University of Liberia had extended invitation to national political parties. So while we were sitting, we saw, when we got the program sheet, when we served the program sheet, we saw the names of national political institutions like the Unity Party, the ANC, the ALP, and including the CDC. Their names were on the program sheet, and I think the university had extended invitation to them to come and pay tribute or to give remarks at the ceremony. So with that, we got to understand that, we were expecting representatives from national political institutions, because while we were there, we listened to Brownie Samuka, former Minister of Defense, who spoke on behalf of the former governing party in the United Party. And other people who were there, they spoke on behalf of the various institutions that they represented at the program. And again, all those who came from national political establishment did not bring with them a huge multitude of crowd, because the university had done her own mobilization for the program. So Koijee came in with his entourage, a very huge barrage of people. So the time they came, the University of Liberia, the person who was emceeing the program, is the vice president for UL Relations in Norris Square. He was the master of ceremony of the program. And at the time they were calling national political parties for remarks or tribute, the CDC was nowhere to be found. The CDC was not around. At the time, Koijee had not come with this barrage of talks that he brought on the campus. And they got exhausted with that agenda item. So it was like the university has transitioned to another agenda item. And the CDC guys entered the hall and decided to chant battle cries, sloganeering in demand of an opportunity to speak. So in the wisdom of the MC of the program in Norris Square, he decided to tell them that they needed to have been patient and calm, because it was not his intention to deprive any institution of the right or the opportunity of speaking at the program, despite the fact that the CDC was not around when they called them for remarks or tribute. So they insisted that they wanted to speak right away. And I can remember vividly, Koijee was in the hall when he came with the guys in a front seat, and he sat down, and people were like talking to him to calm his supporters, and he was unable to have done that, and his inability to have even managed his people as cell program demonstrated that it was a premeditated plot to come on the university campus to disrupt cell program, because, man, if you are a leader and take a barrage of individuals at a particular ceremony or program, if those people behave unruly and indisciplinedly, you take responsibility, because it is under your command that these people came on the university campus. So you talked to them, they did not listen, but it was like they had the intention, and they were giving the clear instruction to do something. So right away, where we were sitting, they decided to demand the talks that the city brought in, headed by Koijee. They decided to demand we, the students who were sitting on the other side of the hall, to release ourselves of the seats we were sitting on, so that they can have seat to sit. We said no, that these are our university. We are members of the university. We are students here, and we did not come here on your invitation. We came here; those are extended our invitation, afforded us this seat to sit, and you got no right to tell us to relieve ourselves of the seat just because you want to sit. So it was in that rigmarole that one of the guys from the CDC went and took forcibly the microphone from the MC of the program in Norris Square, who is the vice president for UL Relations. And then, wow, they decided to chant battle cry. And in fact, they were singing, sloganeering, and what have you. And further attestation on this, if you want to prove, if you want to substantiate what we are saying, you can follow the university page. They were doing recording of the program, and that recording is still on the page of the university. You see how the program works when we came, how the program was when we were sitting listening before the coming of the CDC. So while they were chanting a battle cry, we knew it was an intention to get at us, because The Student Unification Party has been very critical of this regime. The Student Unification Party has been very radical on the menaces and the excesses of this regime in terms of bad governance, violation of constitution, the insecurity in the homeland, the hardship in the homeland, and every offshoot of societal vices that you think that that is tantamount or that is tantamount to injustice. We as an institution we have been very critical on them with regard to our approach to this regime, because we have got the moral obligation, the moral responsibility to question our national leaders to ensure that the leadership of the society works in a way that people get benefit from the commonwealth of the society, the resources of the society. And how do the people benefit from their society? By getting basic social services. Basic social services include, but not limited to, education, quality education, affordable healthcare services, and constant electricity, water, and you just name it. We can go on and on. So, in the absence of these things, we as young people in this country, we have made it as part of our civic duty in our patriotic responsibility to our country to ensure that our national leaders work in the interest of our people, and even including us as young people, to afford us the opportunity to expose our talents in the society. And this is the only crime that we as an institution and our militants have committed against this regime. And it is not just at that program that the CDC has disrupted and brutalized militants or peaceful university students. So again, we re-emphasize on the program. While we were on the program, and they decided to turn the battleground, we decided to leave. The comments leaving the hall got interrupted by the very guys who came on the instruction of the CDC headed by Jefferson Koijee. And they told the colleagues that they couldn't leave the hall. And they were insisting that why you wanted the seat, to say, okay, we say we'll relieve ourselves the seat. Since we don't want our institution name to be in a violent provocation that will lead to the undermining of this unique program, devised by the University of Liberia in honor of a noble statesman who served Liberia with dignity and honor. Because for some of us, we knew Sawyer personally, and our institution proudly associated with Sawyer and the entire progressive community. And Sawyer has been celebrated by the Student Unification Party even before his demise. So we know the kind of person that Sawyer was, and then we needed not to have been part of any provocation that will lead to the disruption of a program organized in honor of this man. So we decided to leave the hall, and they insisted that we can't leave the hall. He wanted a seat, we gave it a seat, and we leave in the hall. He said we can't leave the hall. So there we got to understand that no guys came on the university campus to get at us. And I just take it back, what precipitated this. Since it was during the graduation, the issuance of clearance by the university during the graduation program, the 102 graduation program that just ended. And our institution did a fast check-in, and we got to establish that this mayor in Koijee of Monrovia did not reach the minimum criteria. The minimum we emphasize, the minimum criteria to even be qualified for graduation. But by clandestine and surreptitious way, this man was able to maneuver his way out of the university. He graduated, he was issued clearance, and he was part of the graduation and graduated. We frowned on the university decision to have allowed this clan of a Gucci mayor to buy his way out of the university, wherein we have a standard per the course guide of public administration that Koijee majored at the university while he was here. It says that before you can be qualified for graduation as a student, you must read minimum 134 credit hours. We did our fast checking, and then this man did not exhaust over 70 credit hours at the university. And to add insult to injury, we emphasize, the university decided to graduate this man with honor cum laude, something that was not possible at all, because this man came to the university for 13 years. There's no possibility that somebody will go to school for 13 years and graduate cum laude. Very impossible. And this is a university that we have in Liberia. This is what we call the state-run university. And the university has been bastardized. the standards and the values of the university has been demoralized. There's the country that we are operating under the CDC regime. So, as an institution, we decided to boycott the 1 or 2 graduation program, especially the business college program. And we issued a statement. We frowned on the university's decision. And as an institution, we said we will not recognize Koijee as a due holder of an undergraduate degree from the state-run University of Liberia. And we are very clear on that because it did not pass through the merit system that somebody needs to pass through before they are qualified for graduation. And the system that we have been putting the university to check, and the system because as an institution we want to establish it, we have no personal problem with Koijee. Our issue of graduation, fraudulent graduation, was not with Koijee, it is with the university. Koijee did not decide to graduate from the university on his own. The university was the one that allowed him to graduate in that manner and form. So it is a system of the university that we've got problem with. So, and since we have been, since then we have been very critical on this. We have used the media wavelength. We have used the community to express our detestation on the university decision to graduate this man fraudulently. And we keep insisting that this man did not go to the referral criterion somebody needs to go through or not go to before they graduate. And again, it was on the 26th, because on the 25th, when Dr. Sawyer remains were brought in the country, as a progressive institution, the Student Unification Party was part of the delegation that went at the RIA to receive the remains of Dr. Sawyer. So on the 26th, it was on Friday night. On the 26th, on Saturday morning, the progressive community that include the Movement for Justice in Africa, the Progressive Alliance of Liberia, and the Liberian People's Party of Tehran Gonglo. These people in institution decided to organize a progressive homegoing day in honor of Dr. Sawyer. So the Student Unification Party was invited at that program. The program was held at Monrovia City Hall in the theater. So when we had the program, we were given opportunity to speak on the program. And while we were giving our remarks, paying tribute to Dr. Sawyer, I don't know how the mayor misinterpreted or understood our remarks, because we were telling our comrades and those who were in the gallery that Dr. Sawyer was somebody who stood for meritocracy but not mediocrity, somebody who stood for value system but not fraud. And Dr. Sawyer and his colleagues, a generation of police who participated in the multi-party struggle, the multi-party democratic struggle in this country, were people who went to school and got degree and accolades deservingly and duly. They went to school, they got their PhD, they never had dint. So we're encouraging our colleagues not to be fraud, not to follow fraudulent line. We must go to school duly, sit in classes, get our education with no questioning. And I think because the mayor knew with me, he said that he came to the University of Liberia and did not pass through the referral criteria and graduated unduly with undeserving honor. Probably he felt offended at our statement. And so when we left from that place on the 27th of March, the mayor was angry. So coming on the university campus on the 31st of March, on the program organized by the University of Liberia, this man was coming to teach the Student Unification Party its militants lesson. How dare you go at the MCC where I was sitting? He was part of the program where I was sitting, and you decided to speak in that manner and phone you speak. You spoke in. How dare you challenge my degree, my credential? This is the arrogance of this young man. And so he was bringing his talks on campus to teach us lesson. And as the history is there, it is fixable. That day, on the 31st of March, at the program held at the University of Liberia in honor of Dr. Amos Claudius Sawyer, peaceful university students were brutalized. Militants of the Student Unification Party, about 13 of them, they were severely injured. The photos are on the social media. I think you've come across that. And the university property were vandalized and looted out of the entertainment centers on campus. The brother and sister, the Facebook, the student center, these institutions were vandalized and looted. And people who were at the program, I can remember because some of us were being targeted. And we are being very critical of this regime and certain elements within the regime. And we left the scene. We were around the campus, we were monitoring. We could see Mills June, Dr. Mills June, Dr. Tipote, all of those reputable statesmen who have come to honor the program. They were running that day for safety. Serious thing we're telling you. They went to our office, they vandalized our office, they looted everything we had in the office, and they vandalized the entertainment centers on the university campus, the university or property, the bookstore of the University of Liberia was looted. And up to today's date, and there's the problem again, up to today's date, this university has not had the moral wherewithal, the moral compulsion to denounce this violence. Since the university students were brutalized before the eyes of the president, even though the president of the University of Liberia, before the eyes of the authority of the University of Liberia, and the students were brutalized, the program got disrupted. Up to today's date, this university authority has had nothing to say to this effect. And that day, starting Waterspoon on the Spoon Talks, contacted the Minister of Justice in Musa Day, and when they called him, they were interviewing as to ascertain whether he was in the know of the violent altercation that was created on the university campus, and whether the police forces have gained their attention to that effect, and to see how best they can be able to investigate the matter. He told the world and the Liberian people that day that case was not worth investigating. Because the only reason why he said that, because it was a case that involved the city mayor of Monrovia, somebody who they have seen to be a demagogue in this country. And there's just the narrative of everything that happened here on the 31st of March, at the homegoing ceremony of Dr. Amos Claudio Sawyer, organized by the University of Liberia, where our militants were brutalized, where the University of vandalized, where people's property got looted, and as it is, our comrades are in a very severe condition. Some of them, they are finding it difficult to emphasize to respond to medical treatment. They are finding it very difficult. The other comrades got badly injured on his head. 3 of them, up to today's date, the university has not intervened to see how they can be able to pay proper care to these students, because, mind you, people are students of the University of Liberia before they can be member of any political or religious group on campus. Any student group on campus is secondary to the University of Liberia. So if the university cannot provide protection for her students, if the university campus has become a breeding ground for violence persistently, and we could go on and on to tell you on how many occasions the CDC have come at this university. They invaded the university campus and disrupt classes or academic activities. This university president in Judah Southern Nursing has not had the moral to denounce violence on the university campus. And the police, right on the university campus, across the road is the National Police Headquarters. That day, the police were called. They did not come on campus. They allowed everything to go on as it went on. And as it stands, as an institution, we are pursuing all of the legal means to ensure that we report this case to Amnesty International, other international human rights groups in the country, and we've written the U.S. Embassy, the Swedish Embassy, the EU Embassy in country. We are reporting these incidents to them, these things, because we want to put certain people on record in this country, and because we got right in this country as young people, a citizen of this country, we got fundamental right to critique government. So when things are not happening, look at the State University. After the show, you can just scroll the social media and see the outlook of the university. See how the university is deplorable. They want us to be in this country. We come into a university that is deplorable, that got no electricity, that got no conducive learning environment, a university that is very dirty, and say we are young people, we not have the conscience to speak against this ill. When we speak against them, we are considered to be enemy of the state, as in the voice of the president. And when we speak against these things in country, we are considered to be dissident collaboration. There's a society that we are living in. No security for critical voices against the regime. So I'll stop here for now.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. SG. He is the Secretary General for the Student Unification Party SUP, the party that I have from, the party that Mr. Francis Kanguma Duna from. So, Mr. Duna, we'll go to you.
Yeah, it is a sad moment for our country. It is sad. You know, I, I carefully listened to the SG and sat quietly. It's almost like I, I am lacking of voice this morning. God, the national government under George Weah will get in the business to use our resources to abuse our people. Young students on the campus of the University of Liberia that was created by the very government. I see the reasons why some of us don't have any regret for the war. For the 13, 14 years of broken civil war. These are the very behavior on the part of our national government yesterday and today that got us to where we are. What's wrong with these criminals? Should we take AK-47 and kill them or get them out of power? Because we cannot live in an uncivilized environment today. How can you have an incompetent, immoral, indecent, little known city mayor of Monrovia that will go on the University of Liberia campus and just vandalize the university properties, hurt students criminally, and the president of the University of Liberia, who is also another stooge of the regime, Zawolo Nancy, and we have the police force, partisan police force that refuses consistently to provide security for our people. Where are we heading? When people ready, they want to talk about Prince Johnson, they want to talk about Charles Taylor, they want to talk about the rest of the guys. We are not saying we should go back to that, but this behavior must change, my brother. Out of the question I wanted to ask, I can't even ask the question anymore. Because the Secretary General has just made it clear. So you want to tell me by statute, the Justice Minister of the Republic of Liberia is the #1 highest law enforcement officer, cannot even speak to this issue, only because a little known city mayor is involved. It baffled my thinking. It made me to shed tears, my brother. This country is not going anywhere because this is a man that came to power with no educational background for the most part. George Weah sat down and people did his school work for him. When people talk the way they talk, we are considered enemy of the state. They are the real enemy of the state. George Weah and his criminal cartels are the enemy of the state. How you cannot even under your primary responsibility as a government, peace, security, and protection of the people, you cannot even afford to do that. But you are abusing the very people you're supposed to govern, the very people you're supposed to protect, the very people you're supposed to provide security for. And there is no country around the world today, and even tomorrow, even yesterday, that has succeeded because they hated education, because they hated diversity of views, because they hated free speech. What is our fundamental rights? How can the University of Liberia allow Jefferson Koijee to graduate from the university without meeting up with the minimum requirements?
It is sad.
And they're graduating at the summa cum laude.
It is sad. It is a sad day for our country.
You see, AB, this is what I told you the last time on this platform, that we cannot hold the criminal responsible. We hold the criminal facilitator responsible in this case.
The
This
university
case,
is responsible.
even entering the University of Liberia, Jefferson Koijee should be charged with academic fraud, aiding, and abetting. And University of Liberia president should be put out. University of Liberia administration, those are responsible for enrollment, are the main criminals. Just because Jefferson Koijee is a chairperson of the youth wing of the CDC,
Chairperson for life.
and Senate Mayor of Monrovia is off the hook. I thought we were running a country of law.
Liberia is a place.
Today is not a country of law any longer. It is a country of George Weah and his cartels. His cartel. This is sad. This is a sad moment for our country. When the Petty boss said it, the government of Liberia by history do not understand any democratic fundamental arrangement or dialogue. All they understand is AK-47, and I agree with him. Yeah. For some of all the right political science and those political theories, I think we are moving towards the last results, which is a ginger result. If these people create this uneven environment, political environment, and we go to election, I think we need to go to ginger result, remove them by force. We need to go back there. Even if we don't go to full scale, I think we need to remove these people from power by force. We're not going to go back to John Locke any longer because they do not understand John Locke theory. Give people power based on the specific time frame, allow them to gather through the ballot box. Because what we see them doing now, they are creating a healthy political environment. They are prosecuting opposition in our courts. And they're not even going to court because they want to break their wing, even though they have also, some of them have contributed to that. But if we go into 2023 and they're bringing money to give it to EULA, and they're promising EULA more money, and they're giving money to even other citizens to support them by force, to induce them through cash violence, and they win that election, we will declare the enemy of the state.
Thank you.
Take it to the bank. Take it to the bank. Any incident in Liberia this time around, we're not going to sit on the fence. Because we too own our country. We own our country too. We are not going to sit on the fence. This behavior, they like a dassical, uncivilized, barbaric behavior must stop and must stop now by this foreboding president. Must stop now. Our people need to live their God-given life. I listened to these two women yesterday on Spoon Talk. I almost went down.
Oh.
Odell Freeman.
Odell Sharma. Sharma.
Yeah. Odell Sharma and Princess Cooper mother. The people go not even protest, but just assemble. We teach. Guarantee by the 1986 Constitution and police brutalize those people. yesterday. Is that how we want Liberia to be?
We
Just we are living over, I don't know how many countries for about 19 to 20 years. Is that how the people treated him? Is that how the people treated their people in France? What's wrong with these people with their political power? What's wrong with them? Why these people can't take a cue from our past? I think the war crime and economic crime code should be a matter of must. The next government, not the just we are government, must be the issue of impunity must stop. The issue of impunity in our country must stop. That's the only way we're going to make progress. This motherfucker need to be tried, prosecuted, and incarcerated. That's what we need to do to them. Because they can't learn. They can't get anything from our past. It is sad. And my brother, I'm so happy that you're able to come through even by way of WhatsApp. I'm so happy. But you got to keep pushing. All of the questions I wanted to ask you, you already made it clear. Everybody just in the government taking pay, including the justice minister, including the university president. Everybody just there taking pay. So anybody that closer to George we are, they are off the hook. And that's the country we're running now. It'll be back to you.
You know,
it's too sad.
You know, for me, before we go back to the SG, you know, for me, I know soup.
It's crazy.
I know the atmosphere that Jefferson Tamba Koijee came in. I know it. I have been on that campus. I have experienced it before. You know, that's the reason why I continue to say on this platform that Liberia is not a country, because a country president. Liberia is a place. Liberia is not a country. Liberia is a place. A place is different from a country. For us to see madman, you took madman, you made his city mayor, who does not know the demarcation from the city of Monrovia and the city of Pinsville. The mayor does not even know. You taking, you making city mayor. You take a man who said 17 continent, you take him, a madman who's supposed to be going to school, who's supposed to be taught by some of us here, who's supposed to be sitting there and listening to some of us for us to provide direction for them. But you know what? Liberian people, I trust them. I trust the Liberian because when we told them 2017, when we told the people, don't vote for that criminal. This guy is a criminal. This guy is a criminal in white clothes. Don't vote for him. They said the man get hard for the country, the man get love. Up to now, do you know how much for back of right? Back of right is in the country, but the people refuse to sell it. Our people are suffering. Just back to you, so we can just let you go. So say whatsoever that you have to say to our audience and to our listening public, so you can go, my brother. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Again, we want to say here that for the last 5 years on this regime, it has not been easy for us as student leaders and activists in this country. For the last 5 years, not only us, but other critical voices who have seen it as their patriotic responsibility to country to stand against ill. Because you see evil in life as in history. It is our duty as conscious people to struggle against injustices and evil. Because you see, injustice and evil, they do not before one person roof They do not be for one person whom it is not a one person thing. So today it is about our country, it is about our people. And people who are in power today, they are using the vestiges of power to get at people. Yesterday, they were victims of a very brutal politics, coming into leadership and not understanding why, how you were treated over the years, and the kind of way you came to power, and your responsibility that you have in power is very, 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 very much saddening on the part of the kind of leadership that we have in country. Just we are regime has failed the Liberian people. Every day you wake up, you hear mysterious death. There's no security for our people. Yesterday we read the U.S. State Department report on human rights in Liberia. Very damaging. What you got to say here again, for the last 5 years, this CDC regime under George Weah has not had a befitting or a good human rights record with the U.S. State Department. And then they complain, they say that, oh, no investment coming into the country, people don't want to come and invest, that brother does not have good relationship with the United States. How will people come to invest in a country wherein lawlessness and injustices are the orders of the day? Where in the world you see people invest that money in a very hostile terrain and environment, an environment that has no security, an environment that auditors can die, no proper account, an environment where peaceful Liberians, citizens, innocent Liberians can lose their life without proper investigation to ascertain the mastermind behind these deaths in country. A society that lacks, that are out of the fabric of or out of the tenets of democracy, rule of law, human rights, and a peaceful assembly, freedom of speech. All of these things have been violated under George Weah. And then you say people must come to Liberia to invest? No. For the last 5 years, as it was promised in a proper agenda for prosperity and development, or whatever you can call it, they promised us in a framework that in 3 years' time they were going to alleviate 3 million persons out of poverty in this country. George Weah has further debauched this country and impoverished more Liberians than taking people out of poverty. Probably the only persons who have been taken out of poverty are people who have been given positions of privileges. People who are serving in government, people who yesterday could not provide for themselves in corporate rights, who were given ministerial positions not based on merit, and but based on sycophancy and bootlicking. People like, to name Adam, we say, some of these people who are in national government or parastatals, who don't have the qualification, who don't have the education that require of the position they're serving. So, who will come to the kind of country to invest? The people of this country are suffering. Obviously, the Liberian people are suffering. No electricity, no water, no sanitation, no affordable healthcare system for our people. What has George Weah done in this country that we can appreciate? What has George Weah done? And we see other people of late celebrating so-called invisible park. What?
Thank you.
Economic problems in the state. I come in 1 minute. When the economic problems in the society have not been settled, the economy is in paralysis, is in tatters. There's no foreign direct investment under George Weah since in took over. There's no job creation. Maybe the only places that job has been created is in government, leading to the blustering of government payroll, putting incompetent people on payroll, getting money from government that they don't supposed to have. And this is the tragedy in country. And then he said to us, as young people who are conscious of the fact university going students will not speak against those in the society will speak. We will continue to stand for our country and our people. It is our responsibility. As institution, we have survived some of the worst of time in this country. When Doe presided over this country with military junta that beheaded our comrades, the student unification party stood tall to ensure that Doe dream was brought forth to the ground. And when Taylor took over this country, despite his tyrannical and hostile engagement to the youth and student community, Mr. Taylor is no more today. He is serving his prize, he is paying his prize there in the Hague. And Erin came, she felt that she could suppress the youth and student community and censor the voices of critical people in this country. It never happened. Then a man who played football, who legs possessed all of the senses in heart, more than his brain, is the one thinking that he can power up on the land of dictatorship and succeed in this country. One thing we assure this government that they will have that day in court. Probably they will not be focused on the issue of establishment of war economic crimes court to prosecute people who are involved with war crimes and economic crimes in this country, because they themselves have created a kind of history for themselves. George Weah is a criminal. George Weah did not have 49 condominium before coming to power, but George Weah in 1 year time in power and built for himself 49 condominium. George Weah now had 10 million war property on 9th Street. When he became president, he broke the 9th Street property and rebuilt another one that was 10 million, the most expensive private property in Liberia. So where George Weah has been attaining all of this money from, it is from the covers of the society. So we as an institution remain very critical. Mayor Koijee, we are reporting into international partners and international institutions in country. We are going to take a legal action against him. In the coming days, you'll hear a contempt charge being issued by Monrovia City Court against the city mayor of Monrovia. We're taking to court. He will pay the price for brutalizing our comics. And to the university authority, lastly, if they cannot provide us security, if the president, who is a sycophant, who is a regime stooge, Mr. Nelson, who is the president of the University of Liberia, is a regime stooge, that old man has no moral rectitude to speak against the violent altercations that are being created on the university campus by the CDC since it took over. Over 3 times now, the university has been invaded by thugs. Students have been brutalized, property have been vandalized. The president has said nothing. And one thing we can say to him, if things is not taken to protect the university student and to make the university a peaceful place for learning, conducive place for learning, we will have it removed from the president of the university. We cannot have a president that cannot protect us. We cannot have a president that allow himself to be a political tool, to be implementing political failed policy of a regime that is failing our people. Just by very clear off, we want to say thank you for the opportunity. It is just quite unfortunate that we could not come via the platform itself, and we look forward to having the kind of more engagement with your platform, because we have to engage our people. Our people need to understand what is happening in this country and why these people will not be re-elected. Because it is our responsibility as an institution. A government that fails our people will not be re-elected in this country. Will campaign against fair government, because we gave you power to benefit our people. The social contract theorists say, give me power, empower me, and in return, I benefit you with the resources of the society, be it in the form of education, healthcare, and what have you, but these things are not happening. These things are not happening. Then when people speak, you be dragged the people's children in blood. The peaceful university students is saddening us that nobody can talk about this in this country. The president cannot talk about it. The police force cannot talk about it. In fact, the security is not meant for critical people in this country. The security is a partisan security. And there's the country that we are running on, Georgia. So we remain more engaged. We want to say thank you for the opportunity. We look forward to having more engagement with your platform. We are very grateful for the opportunity to air our views on your platform. Very grateful.
For me, I don't want for you to go, because we'll have one caller here. Caller, what is the name and where are you calling out from?
Good morning, AB. Good morning, Francis. My name is Pastor Wendell Moore, and I'm calling you from Highway 10, Minnesota. How are you all this morning?
We are doing good. Pastor Moore, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for the program. And I want to say thank you to that brother that I just called. And I want them to know that freedom is not free. The price have to be paid. Freedom is not free. But it does not call for them to take a gun for freedom. Because we see the people who came, they said they were liberators, they tend to loot us and criminal. So for Liberia to be liberated from this regime, it takes the Liberians themselves to stand up. People will go to jail. People will lose their lives. People will be brutalized. But they have to stand up for their rights. I watched yesterday and I saw protesters in the street preparing to march. The people have not yet gathered and police started to disperse them. Where is the justice? They have the rights to protest. It is their right to protest. But the responsibility of the police, when you have protesters that want to march, you guide them You tell them, say, take one side of the street and let the moving traffic move. That is your responsibility. Your responsibility is not to go and disrupt peaceful citizens that is standing up for their rights. That is totally wrong. So it makes me to understand that all of the killing in Liberia, the government don't give a D. Sorry to say so. They don't give a D. They are just there to accumulate wealth. And to the opposition, why are they fighting among themselves? Why Musa Belete taking people to neck when the country is in disarray? Why are they fighting among themselves? What do they want to prove? If this man say, okay, I pull up from this party, let me go my way, go your way, run your campaign. But it just shows that, let me say this before I leave. 2017, 19 political parties, along with the CDC, went against one man. That one man was Joseph Banker. Where are they today? Those 19 parties, they were all paid by Ellen Johnson. Those 19 political parties went against one man. Why? Only because this man refused to steal. Only because this man refused to be corrupt. Only because this man refused to be like any other politician. So the 19 of them went against them. This is what we are reaping today in Liberia. Where are those 19 parties?
Thank you.
What are they doing? Thank you, AB.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My Comrade Jusu, Comrade SG, I want for you to give your parting statement as you leave us. Comrade SG. Hello, Jusu? Okay. Yeah, my friend and brother. You know, for me, it just sad that our comrades, our junior comrades, have to go through the same thing that we went through. It just sad. That is to prove to you that Liberia is not moving ahead. That is to prove to you the thing that Doe did. That's the same thing Chatara King started to do to university students. And never stopped there. Ellen Sirleaf King, they tried to make it diplomacy. They tried to make it modernize it, but they were infringing on the rights. Comrade Jutsu.
Yeah.
Comrade, give your parting statement.
So, in our party comment, we first want to appreciate again the caller who called in, and we understand the sense of patriotism that he had in the comment, and we just want to say to everybody, all well-meaning Liberians in this country, we got right to stand up for our country. Our country is backward, and it is a shame and it is a scars that we bear on our hearts. That every time we scroll the internet or we move around the sub-region in Africa or move around the world, we see other nations are making good and tremendous impact with regard to development and the transformation of that society. But when we come back home, we're not seeing anything. We have government that should be responsible for these things and what have you. And we must stand up. We must stand up. This is our country. Nobody should fear us. Irrespective of the fact that some of them, they are using terror to engage us and what have you, but we're not being deterred by these things and so forth. We will continue to stand up. This is our country. We have nowhere to go. Only Liberia. Our responsibility and obligation to a country is only to Liberia. So we want to say to the students of the University of Liberia, precisely the medicines of the Student Education Party, those of whom who got badly wounded, we want to say to them, comrades, you must not waver, and it is for a just and befitting cause that you got brutalized and hounded by these dogs. We see you as a threat. We see you as somebody who is exposing the evil or doings in this country. We see you as somebody who is fighting against the status quo. We see you as somebody who is exposing their corruption. Somebody who is exposing their ill-gotten wealth in the country. So you must continue to do that, because if you don't do that when you steal from the country, money that should be apportioned to health, to impact you and the rest of the citizens, it will not be apportioned to health. Somebody will steal that money and that will come of it. We read it news this morning. There's a huge corruption saga at the Ministry of Health. Just day before yesterday again, or in the last week, we were hearing of a huge corruption scandal at the DJs. So what kind of society are we? Each time we wake up, we are not awakening. You know, we're not awakening to good news. We are awakening to corruption, stealing, mysterious death. And we say we have government, and there's the people that we have society in the country we are leading us. So it's our responsibility. Any government that is not doing well for you, you get that responsibility to struggle against them, to bring them down, to ensure that you give another person the opportunity to test them. We got people in this country who are, who are thinking better, who got the vision to transform Liberia. We as a people, we just need to make our clear determination as to who we want to support. We must not continue to vote criminals in power and expect that these criminals would ever do anything well. Mr. Weah, who play football, according to them, he got 19 million worth, and they make him to the society you are living a wretched existence. But he has left since he became president. This man who 19 million could not be a factory and academy in this country, he saying he was a footballer, but he did not impact people with his football money that he got. And it is only at the presidency that he wants to see himself as a humanitarian. It is wrong. Mr. Weah and his henchmen will account for all of the wrongdoings they are committing in this country. The time will come, and the date of reckoning is coming. There will be a date of justice in this country. Whether it's 100 years from now, it's 200 years from now. But a generation will come and say that, oh, we have to go against this system and culture of impunity. And those who are responsible for all these things in Liberia will be brought to justice. Thank you very much. We hope that next time we can connect on a good manner. Thank you very much. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. That was the voice of the SG for SOUP. The brother spoke excellently, and I guess that our audience have his message. And we want to say in this manner that we are sorry to our comrades that were wounded, but the university are expected for the university to think better. Do you think the university in itself was right in inviting various political parties on the university campus?
I would think the university did it in good faith, especially the associate vice president for university relations. I know Mr. Richmond Anderson used to be in that position. It's like a community liaison officer. I think the University of Liberia did it in good faith, considering the program or the agenda item, the homegoing of one of their immense contributors, in persons of Dr. Amos Sawyer. May his soul rest in peace. I think they did it in good faith. You know who Dr. Sawyer was. Yeah. So whether in fact that the invitation in Israel doesn't give any opportunity to anybody to go and brutalize other citizens of Liberia.
So disrupt
disrupt academic activity, disrupt the program. Not only that, and committed a criminal activity on campus, and nobody can talk about it. That is that. But you know what, AB? Let me tell you something. When Thomas Hobbes talked about this, that there was a necessity to create a neutral body, and that happened to be government, Thomas Hobbes did not think that the government would be evil against its own people. Thomas Hobbes, from the political decoding of that statement, was meant to create a blockade for bad people against good people, where he said the society was nasty, and that nastiness could have a negative impact on the people, ordinary people, the weak people. But for us in Liberia, the social contract doesn't work. The necessity of creating a government doesn't even work for us, because the government that we create and surrender our political rights to have become our enemy. And they are calling us, we are the enemy. That's what happened from the inception of our country, and recent times have become so vivid, and they continue to repeat the same thing. The different government, the same patterns. This will not work. This will not work, AB. And like the SG said, I really commend this boy for him to be able to articulate the way he did it. And you know, these people will pay the price. They will pay the price. We don't care how long it takes. And let me just tell you, Comrade SG and the rest of the university family, we went to that university. Jefferson Koijee, we will follow you. We will follow you until we can follow you no more. Your degree will be revoked. You know, when Dr. Hassan Conte took over the university, there were some people that have Google degrees. You know, the university authority revoked it.
Yeah.
They revoked it. Dr. Somape, that was one of the guys that were teaching the class, and they say he got a PhD from America. Yeah, he didn't have no PhD. How they call the paper? From Sando. He was teaching public administration. I just forgot. With nursing, Blambo nursing was teaching public administration. He was teaching a bachelor degree and he only had an AA degree in public administration. Can you imagine that? He was booted out. When the government changed and the system goes under evaluation, Mr. Koijee, your degree will be revoked. You better go back to school. That university degree will put a hold on it. Because those of us that went to that university, we will use our God-given ability, internally and internationally. That your degree will not be accepted at any university. I can guarantee you. I'm not speaking for myself. I'm speaking for myself and in consultation of the university authority, especially the student community and the alumni association of the University of Liberia. We're not going to sit here alive and we allow these hooligans to reduce the standard, to reduce the academic standard of the University of Liberia, the only state-run university. Some of us came with that degree to this America, and we did our master's degree without any prerequisite, face value, because we were going in the same spot. If we sit there and allow that to happen, our credential will be questioned. And those credentials that will come later. And that's why we're not allowed it. George Weah and Hecate can do whatever they want to do. Their days are numbered. Their days are numbered. They need to ask Samuel Doe, they need to ask Charles Saylor and Eddie. We're coming after you. We don't care what you do. And you're not going to succeed to injure everybody. Or to kill. Those that you're killing. But you guys will be held accountable for your action. Life on planet Earth, every single action that's an equal reaction. And they need to remember that. They need to remember that. This is just way too much, AB. It is just way too much. This country cannot improve. Any small progress, that progress is bad down.
You know, when the Ghana did it to Yeke Kolbai in District 10, people were sitting there, people were laughing. When they see Jefferson Tamba Koijee did it to Yeke Kolbai in District number 10, people were sitting there laughing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now that it getting at the attentions. Jefferson Tamba Koijee said he went to school 2014. 2014 that was school in UR.
That was Ebola.
You get it right. The man.
That was Ebola. Everything was closed. People were dying.
Jefferson Tamba Koijee will pay for that.
We're going to revoke that degree, AB. Trust me. Trust me. When contact took over, even the professors, AB, I'm not cutting you off, AB. AB, I'm not cutting you off. Even the professors that were in the classroom, the professors that are conduct call for re-application. re-application, re-evaluation of teaching credentials. That's what Dr. Conte called for. And when he called for those things, some of them just gone. That was it. So Jeff, take it to the bank. We don't hate you, but you are a criminal facilitator. University of Liberia is a real criminal in this particular incident. And the University of Liberia president, thank God, the SG already said what I wanted to say. We will support you guys morally and whatever means. We will take them to court. Whether that Judge Weir court, that the Chief Justice court, we don't care about that. We'll take them to court to have records on them. Because maybe the next session that coming, the sanction the United States talk about through the ambassador targeted, Jeff Koijee must be placed on our list. It should be placed on our list.
You know, like I am not wasting my time on Jeff Koijee because the man is a flunky. The man is a flunky. So I'm not wasting my time on him. I know that a degree that he get, that degree will be revoked. I know it for sure. But what I am saying here, we as Liberians, we should come together as one unit to fight the CDC. 2023, the guy that came here to get you like 100,000. When the airport was supposed to be bringing resources,
he get like that.
they get like.
They said if you get in 8 months, that done will get in like. Can you imagine?
It is time to talk, bringing sense to the disco for better discussion. Uzi Abraham coming to talk. Labirent is a bracket talk show. It is time to talk, bringing sense to the disco for better discussion. Uzi Abraham coming to talk. Labirent is a bracket talk show. It is time to talk.
That's how we'll let to leave you guys here. Well, we are done our own. It left for you. If you are watching in Liberia, it left for you to decide how best you will do yours. But as for me and my brother Francis, we are done up with ours for the day. Thank you. See you when we see you. Bye-bye for now.